Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOL FTW BRB. Welcome back to more WWE versus TEW, the weekly series where we take the shows and events that the WWE books, run them in the game, and see just how well WWE does against TEW, or if Grey Dog Software, Adam Ryland, and Total Extreme Wrestling will be the company to bring the WWE to its knees once and for all. Today we are booking the June 26th edition of Tuesday Night Smackdown, the My Little Brother Birthday edition of Tuesday Night Smackdown. Happy birthday, Jay. So now that that's out of the way, main event of the night, Harper and Daniel Bryan, Bludgeon Brothers versus DB feud is going to be heating up tonight. Let's go ahead and run this. We are in the Citizens Business Bank Arena. James Ellsworth is under contract, so no longer do we have to work around certain superstars where they're located and what's not. Opening segment of the night gets a 72 B- as Miz TV opens up the show. Miz is going to be interviewing the Bludgeon Brothers, but not much interviewing goes on here as Miz does all the talking while the Bludgeons just sit there looking menacing and whatnot. Miz highlights the past weeks, pretty much the event that all took place last week that led to this feud between Bludgeon Brothers and Daniel Bryan, by kind of like making it seem like a movie with a bunch of acts and all that. First showing Bryan saying that he wants to take on the biggest and the baddest competitors on SmackDown. Then, of course, showing the stare down between Daniel Bryan and the Bludgeon Brothers before the Gauntlet match, and then the Bludgeon Brothers attack during the Gauntlet match, which led Miz to, beating Daniel Bryan. In his words, fair and square, as Daniel Bryan was ready, standing up and ready to go. Miz thinks that maybe the Bludgeons want to be the new Miztourage, but that ain't happening as things get a little tense for the Miz here for a moment, as I believe it was Harper that smacked the mic away from Miz, and they kind of start backing him down, or backing Miz down. What is what I'm trying to say? I never know what I'm trying to say, by the way. I just say what's on my head and hope it's right. Either way, Daniel Bryan's music interrupts him, and he kind of saves the Miz in a way. Daniel Bryan even tells the Miz to shut up because Miz, he was saying something to Bryan, but I don't recall exactly what he said to Bryan. Bryan just told Miz to shut up. He then leads to challenge one of the Bludgeon Brothers. Harper steps up to take the challenge, and that's how we get to our main event of the night. Apparently, we deserved better announcing, but it did get the show off to a strong start, got the crowd hot, gained heat for the feud, and that might be a bit of a spoiler, but, well, if you watch SmackDown, can you really call it a spoiler? Daniel Bryan learning to show more charisma, as is Harper. Good on you guys. 72 B- as the New Day is backstage just joking around, doing New Day things. In fact, they have Mr. Bootyworths blend up some milk and pancakes with each other, and then Xavier Woods drinks it because he's in action next. Interesting. Xavier Woods is getting better at his gimmick. Still the bird's here, by the way. Sorry if you hear the bird. Apparently it's very talkative right now. 61 solid C rating as we get hyped for the Xavier Woods versus Rusev match that is next, alongside Daniel Bryan versus Harper later on tonight. Xavier Woods, Kofi, all of them, you might see them being featured alongside like Rowan and Aiden English as well. They're not rated. They're just featured on this angle because they're featured on screen, but they're not rated. 61 solid C for that. Come on, I guess not. 61 solid C for Aiden English coming out and announcing that it's Rusev Day. Also throwing jabs at Xavier Woods and AJ Styles during the song. We then get hyped for our WWE Championship match that'll take place at Extreme Rules. AJ Styles versus Rusev, 66 C+ for that. We then go into our opening match of the night with 65 solid C rating here, as we have a decent matchup. Rusev going over Xavier Woods in 8 minutes, 17 seconds by submission with the accolade. Nothing too special here. It's alright. Really nothing special though, guys. I'm trying to think of like highlights off the top of my head. I can't really think of any. Xavier Woods has got a new move called the Limit Breaker. That's kind of cool because it's a video game reference. Limit Break's Final Fantasy, but that's pretty much it that I can really recall from this matchup. Rusev beat him with the Accolade, though. He didn't say Rusev Crush, though. He said Rusev Machka. I missed when it was Rusev Crush. Kofi Kingston doing some good work ringside. Xavier getting better at his gimmick. Got the crowd hot. Xavier Woods with an in-ring performance of a 59. Rusev with a 63. No worker improvements. 100A star is Big Break John. Apparently shows up pretty early tonight. Thank you, John. 70C plus. Apparently we had a commercial break in between Rusev's win and his promo. 70C plus rating here as Rusev cuts a generic promo on AJ Styles after beating Xavier Woods. Nothing too special was said here. He called AJ a coward pretty much and told him that he was scared, and he can tell because he punched Aiden. But last week it didn't look like Rusev was too upset about Aiden, getting punched. In fact, it looked like he kind of deserved it, and Rusev kind of agreed. Nonetheless, there is one thing about the previous matchup that I did want to bring up that I forgot. It's not necessarily a highlight in the sense of a match. It's more like something Corey Graves said. He talks about it when the New Day's making her way down to the ring, and it made me laugh. If you remember that angle beforehand where they were drinking the pancakes blended up with milk, Corey Graves pretty much calls them out saying, that doesn't even make sense because if you just liquefy pancakes, you're just drinking batter. It was when you think of it like that, you're like, huh, yeah, I guess so. It was just funny. Anyway, gained heat for the Rusev AJ feud. Aiden English helping Rusev apparently as well. 76 B- rating here as Jeff Hardy. He doesn't, to my knowledge, I could have missed him mention Shinsuke Nakamura. I was slightly distracted when he was cutting a promo. My mom came in. Me and her were talking for a bit. I paused it, and then when I unpaused it, he was already talking. So I might have missed him mention Shinsuke Nakamura. So if I did, that's my bad. But I don't believe he mentioned Shinsuke Nakamura. So therefore, generic promo as Jeff Hardy is ready for action. He is ready to fight and take flight, as he said. We then get to a 66 C+ as we find out why Shinsuke Nakamura isn't here tonight, as the color commentary team puts over the fact that we were supposed to see Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy tonight for the United States Championship, but Shinsuke Nakamura had an unfortunate injury. I'm not exactly sure if that's real or not. For all I know, it could be a fake injury. Nonetheless, Nakamura is not here, and Jeff Hardy is going to be hosting an open challenge for his United States Championship. Although it's kind of similar storylines. Even Corey Graves puts it over that this could be, to Jeff Hardy's detriment pretty much because, because Seth Rollins, lost the Intercontinental Championship because of that. Before we get to that match, we have a commercial break, and when we come back from a commercial break, Lana and Naomi are bickering backstage about who's the better dancer. This leads to the cast of Glow, which, my apologies to all of you expecting me to find the cast of Glow or anybody to substitute them, but that just wasn't happening. They meet the cast of Glow, and they just kind of talk for a bit, putting over the fact that I guess Season 2 of Glow is coming out on Netflix. I've never even seen Season 1. I probably should. I wanted to. I never got around to it. I'm horrible at getting around to stuff like that. Nonetheless, they bicker back and forth. Lana talks to, I guess, the Russian character. I actually met some people from Glow when I was in Las Vegas, by the way, during my Cauliflower Alley club trip. But that's okay. Kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent there. Nothing too much of a story. In fact, I couldn't even tell you which member I met. I met someone who was a part of Glow. A couple of people, I think. Nonetheless, they put over the fact that Lana and Naomi should stop beefing and, work together. Naomi's like, well, maybe we could, I can admit that you're a good dancer and all that, and maybe we can become a ravishing team, and we can snatch everyone bald, and they can feel the glow, or something like that. To where it leads to me to question, why would you want a team in the first place? There's no tag team championships in the women division as of right now, so there's really no reason for them to team, if you ask me. But, whatever. I forgot to take Aiden English off of Lana here, so I guess that's my bad, but whatever. We then lead into our United States Championship matchup, which is accepted by Leader of Sanity Eric Young. So we get to our championship introductions, with, of course, Greg Hamilton introducing challenger Eric Young and champion Jeff Hardy. We jump into the matchup. By the way, Jeff Hardy was actually pretty peeved about this matchup, if I do say so myself. I had to, if you can avert your attention to the road agent notes, we had to protect Jeff Hardy. I thought we kept him strong as well, but I guess we didn't. This was also our storytelling match of the night. But yeah, Jeff wasn't too happy about the loss to Eric Young, which technically he did lose to Eric Young because Eric was the one that was attacked. Jeff Hardy was never attacked by any member of Sanity or the Usos. Anyway, 47 solid D rating here as we have a decent matchup. Eric Young goes over Jeff Hardy in 9 minutes 25 seconds after Jeff Hardy was disqualified when Jey Uso ran and attacked Eric Young. So pretty much what happened here is during the match, the Usos come down. They kind of get it, in the face of Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane on the outside. Killian Dane, Wolf, and the Usos all brawl. This then leads to... What was I going on about? Oh, yeah. This leads to Eric Young coming out and attacking Jey Uso, and I only know that because that's what the commentator said. And Jey Uso attacks back, which was what led to the DQ. And then it also leads to the brawl that we have coming up next. Eric Young with an in-ring performance of a 35. Jeff Hardy with a 64, gaining heat to the Usos Insanity feud. And one thing that I do want to put of a note is they did talk about how these two kind of have fought each other before. They didn't say, oh yeah, these two have, but they mentioned how this is the first time that Jeff Hardy and Eric Young are fighting each other on SmackDown, pretty much, hinting at the fact that yes, they have fought each other before. They mentioned that with Bryan and Harper all night, but we know Bryan and Harper have fought, on WWE TV. But it's interesting to see them kind of reference a TNA feud here. What do we got for changes here? Oh, Killian Dane, we're changing his gimmick because I was curious as to why he didn't get a gimmick change, and he was only an old school heel. I don't agree with that, so we're changing him to a Maverick, who I honestly forget what the definition of Maverick was, but in the game it made it seem like yeah, that's Killian Dane, above average. Good for you, Killian. Yeah, I don't really remember what it is off the top of my head. It's not a Drake Maverick. 45 solid D rating here as we have the brawl between Jeff Hardy and the Usos taking on Sanity as they take them out of the ring. Alexander Wolf getting better at his gimmick. Killian Dane getting better at his gimmick, and it gained heat for the Usos Sanity feud. We then jump into a 6-man tag team match that is taking place as we come back from commercial break. 54 C- rating here, and a poor matchup. Jeff Hardy and the Usos go over Sanity, which of course is Eric Young, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf, in 10 minutes 13 seconds after Jeff Hardy defeats Alexander Wolf with the Whisper in the win. This was a fun match. A lot of fast-paced action here. Sanity looking really good. Usos looked good. Jeff Hardy did his thing. All-around good match. I guess my only complaint would be is Alexander Wolf didn't get much of a chance to shine in this match at all. But I doubt that's who they're trying to highlight out of, Eric Young and Killian Dane. But it's a shame because I personally think Alexander Wolf is interesting as well. I like his gimmick, or his character, at least he had in NXT. But with that being said, match pretty much ends when Wolf hits the German suplex on one of the Usos, which leads to Jeff Hardy being able to tag that Uso. Bad placement for Wolf. I think the Uso hit him with a super kick or something before getting out of the ring, which then led to him, Wolf falling down. Jeff Hardy, being ready to set up for the Swanton. 1, 2, 3. Jeff and company win. Apparently Jeff was head and shoulders above everybody else, so we know who's the best in this matchup here. Eric Young getting better at his gimmick. Killian Dane getting better at his gimmick. Jeff Hardy looked excellent out there. Jimmy Uso with a 44... Jey Uso with a 44. Jimmy Uso with a 46. Sorry if you hear any background noise. I guess my dog was in the kitchen, and, well, my stepdad's not cool with that when he's cooking his dinner, I guess. Jeff Hardy with a 70 in-ring performance, as we already know, the best by far. Alexander Wolf with a 27. Killian Dane with a 33. And Eric Young with a 43. So Wolf was the weakest of everybody, which doesn't surprise me. Gained heat for Usos and Sanity's feud. And that's that. Solid 60 rated C here as we get hyped for Daniel Bryan versus Harper, which will take place later on tonight in our main event. 33 E+ as we see Becky Lynch warming up for her upcoming match against Sonya Deville. She's shadow boxing, I guess would be the term for it. She almost hits one of the producers or whatever, and the producer pretty much just lets her know, hey, you're next. And then her match against Sonya Deville is hyped. Before we get to the match, we see exactly why this match is taking place as we get taken back to a promo that was, I guess being cut earlier in the night. 45 solid D. Becky Lynch is just, talking about how she's kind of on a roll right now before she's interrupted by Absolution, who laugh at her and saying, you won a couple matches and you think you're Becky Balboa now? Becky's not going to stand for it, and she says, I see 4 arms here, so which one of you guys am I taking down? Sonya Deville steps up, and that's why we have this matchup. 44 solid D rating here for our women's matchup. Becky Lynch versus Sonya Deville in a poor matchup. Becky Lynch goes over Sonya Deville in 9 minutes 34 seconds by submission with a disarm her after a botched interference from Mandy Rose. It's not like Mandy Rose was intentionally trying to hit Sonya here. I wasn't exactly sure how I would book this, but the match pretty much ends when Mandy is talking her trash to Becky, which leads to Becky, I guess, avoiding Sonya as she was running at her, which allows Sonya to headbutt Mandy on accident, stumbling her for a moment, and Becky locks in a disarmer to win. That's really the only note of this match. I can't think of a damn thing afterwards. Besides that, this was just here pretty much. Becky Lynch had an in-ring performance of a 41. Sonya Deville with a 35. Mandy Rose doing some good work ringside. 57 C- as we get more hype for Bryan versus Harper. We then get a little bit of a backstage, whatever. He is pretty much an old school heel. I forgot because he was borrowed that, it doesn't affect his thing or his gimmicks or anything, so I had to change it. But again, it doesn't matter because he pretty much was an old school heel. 33 E+ rating here as James Ellsworth is pretty much, I guess, trying on the mask. He runs into Ty Dillinger. Dillinger's he's kind of freaked out. He puts the mask back on James and he goes, there you go, now you're a 10. And then as Ty's walking away, James goes, Ty, I'm a 10 without the mask too, aren't I? And he's holding out his 10, his fingers as a 10. Ty then puts them down to 5 and then the 1, and he thinks he's a 1 pretty much. James Ellsworth got an average rating on his old school heel. Come on, there we go. 28 solid E rating here as, hey look, Andrade Cien Almas and Selena Vega are here. I mentioned that last week too. Are you watching me, WWE? Hey WWE, if you're watching me, where the hell is Randy Orton? Randy Orton hasn't been here for like a month. Just saying. Is he injured? No, I don't know. No one said anything to me. I don't know. Nonetheless, Andrade Cien Almas and Selena Vega backstage, pretty much talking about how they put Sin Cara out of action, which is why they think they haven't been given any action, but they just make sure they tell everyone if you're smart, stay out of our way if you know what's good for you, pretty much. Gained heat for the feud with Sin Cara. There you go. 45 solid D rating as James Ellsworth makes his way out to the ring. He talks about Asuka caught him off guard, and he ain't going to take it. He challenges Asuka, and he pretty much dares her to come out here right now and face him 1v1. This leads to the general manager, Paige, coming out instead. She puts over that, Asuka's not here, and James knows Asuka's not here because he kept wondering, asking everybody, oh, is Asuka here? Is Asuka here? She then goes ahead and announces that Carmella will defend her women's championship against Asuka at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And she also lets James Ellsworth know that next week he will be facing Asuka in a one-on-one match instead of going on a date with her like he originally was led to believe. James Ellsworth was very underwhelming here. Paige came across well, though. Paige pretty much saved this angle, is what it's telling me. 70 C+ rating as we see the Bludgeon Brothers just looking menacingly backstage before Harper starts staring into the camera menacingly. And then the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, helping Daniel Bryan get ready for his upcoming match against Harper, which is next. Main event time, 72 B-. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Daniel Bryan goes over Harper in 12 minutes, 7 seconds after Harper was disqualified when Rowan ran in and attacked Daniel Bryan. So things weren't looking good, and Rowan took matters into his own hand and interfered. This was a good back and forth match. Harper and Daniel Bryan always have good chemistry. Every match I've ever seen with them take place in WWE, whether it be a tag team match or not, it's always been good. Daniel Bryan, he surprises me so much when he comes back, from his injury or, being gone or retired or whatever the hell you want to call it. And he takes these crazy moves. So he took a huge-ass big boot from Harper, over one of the barricades. He does a suicide dive. And, I've been telling you guys, I haven't really been too impressed with Daniel Bryan since his return. But I gotta say one thing. Last week's match against Big E and this week's match against Harper, Brian's starting to, I think he's starting to get that ring rust out. Maybe it really was Big Cass. Maybe a lot of you guys were right. Maybe Big Cass was just too slow, and that's why Brian, wasn't looking too good. Big Cass wasn't the only guy he fought, though, in my defense, though. But I think he's starting to, get back into the groove of things because the last couple of matches he had these past week, even his match at Money in the Bank with Big Cass, it's been all right. Harper seemed off his game, which is unfortunate here, so you got to take that into account when looking at his in-ring performance. By the way, it was a 54, could have been better. Match deserved better announcing, apparently. 78 in-ring performance for Daniel Bryan. Surprised it didn't improve the feud. Nonetheless, speaking of improvements, Daniel Bryan still improving in Rumble and performance skills. Good on you, DB. After the match is over, 71 B- rating here as the Bludgeon Brothers continue the beatdown on Daniel Bryan until the fire erupts, and out comes Kane. Kane makes his return, and he gets rid of Harper. He gets rid of Rowan, well, with a little bit of help from Daniel Bryan. Bryan seems like he's seen a ghost here, but Kane extends his arms. They hug it out, and Team Hell No is back, everybody. And Paige takes advantage of the opportunity, won't let it slip through her fingers, and announces that at Extreme Rules, the Bludgeon Brothers will defend their tag team championships against Team Hell No. So there you have that. But while this is all grand and dandy, we are about to completely ruin it because we have to completely turn Kane from a heel to a face. And that's not going to go over good. I'm just going to let you know that now. We already seen what happened to Lio Rush, despite 205 Live supposed to be after Smackdown. For some reason, I had to book it before. Unfortunately for Kane here, this is going to go bad. Yep. The fans are becoming jaded. Complete disaster for Kane. He's going to want a bonus. But now he's a face now, so, works for him. What do we get for Smackdown this week? 80 solid B rating for Smackdown this week. 27 regions increased our popularity in. Good stuff, good stuff. Good stuff. Team Hell No's back. What a surprise. I would have never guessed it, considering also the fact that Kane was on Raw before he was on SmackDown. I love how they can just take someone like Kane and we're like, hey, I know we don't see Kane very often, and I know last time you saw Kane, he was pretty much taking on Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. But let's just put him over on SmackDown with nobody noticing, Also, how is Kane, I'm so confused with Kane right now. Kane, from what I remember, he won the mayorship of Knoxville County or whatever it is. How is he still doing the WWE thing? Doesn't he have, does he not have mayoral duties, or does it not really take up much of his time? I don't know. It seems like it would take up a lot of time. I mean, granted, it is only maybe an hour or something of his time, 2 hours, but still. Traveling around with WWE that often, I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating it for someone like Kane, who probably has saved himself up quite a lot of money over the years. Nonetheless, he is back. He is a face, and Team Hell No is back. And while that seems all cool and dandy and all that, I can't imagine them losing the champion or losing their tag team match. But I have a feeling they will lose the tag team match because they want to put over the Bludgeon Brothers. Which makes me think, is Kane going to turn on Bryan or what? I don't understand what they're going to do with that. But as you can tell, I am stalling. So I'll go ahead and do the outro here or now. And hopefully by the time our outro is done, we can get to the main screen so I can just pay off Kane and Lio Rush so they'll not be mad at me anymore. That's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, my name has been OMG WTF LOL FTW BRB. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a damn. All the social media accounts out there, make sure you give it a share. Help your homeboy out, gain some new subscribers. Definitely would appreciate it. Kalisto wants a rise. There you go, Kalisto. But yeah, if you got some buddies out there you feel would enjoy the content, definitely give them a share as well. Maybe help your homeboy get some new subscribers up in this bitch. Huh, everyone loves Aiden English but Finley. He says Aiden English doesn't get it. Interesting. With that being said as well, I've got my buddies down there, and you can always check them out in the description below. Check out ZachManziNVO, very active on Twitch, streams for about maybe 2 hours every day, streams games like Overwatch and what's not. This guy's going to be stupid happy. No Kane, though, I'm surprised. And then, of course, you got my buddy Raging Yoshi down below as well. You can check out. He is very active on YouTube, currently doing a Let's Play of Final Fantasy X, I believe, with some of his buddies as well. So, before I end this off, I am going to go ahead and see if Team Hell No is on here. The Bella Twins, Lucha Dragons. I forgot all about the Lucha Dragons. Maybe it's individuals. If not, I'm going to have to create them, which is stupid. Oh, yeah, it should be individuals. Look at all these. Big E and Carmella. Apollo and Nia Jax. They must have counted the Mixed Match tag thing or whatever the hell it was. It's got to be on here. In fact, it's right here. I don't know why I'm going through everybody. All right, Team Hell No are back. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, guys.